Oh shit, I was very delayed on hitting that button. Hello and welcome back to the Pixel Street podcast. This is episode 244 of the Man, I gotta clean this hat. I see a little bit of dust up here.
Oh,
I gotta
it's a
clean that
dirty
hat.
hat.
I do have a fresh one right here. This one, it doesn't show up well in camera or even in real life, but it's navy blue.
Okay. I was gonna ask what's the difference, and why is there a navy blue White Sox hat? I only know them
I
as
don't
black and white.
yeah, well yeah, I mean that's true, but they for any team, you could go find a navy blue Cardinals hat, I'm sure, if you looked on like
Yeah, but
lids.com or something.
that's their away hat is navy blue.
But yeah, okay, but what I'm saying is just like any team, right? The Orioles. I'm sure you could find a navy blue Orioles hat.
No,
I
find them
guarantee
right
it.
now. Go look for it.
All right,
I'll look
I'll
for it
find it.
too.
Navy blue Orioles hat.
God damn it! I already
Boom.
found one.
Right away. It was like the first picture.
Yep.
First
All
picture.
right.
See,
Rest
it
in
doesn't
peace
make
to the
sense.
Orioles season, by the way.
Yeah, as you can tell, it's not a big news week. We're talking about blue hats and stuff, but yeah, this is episode 244 of the show. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Joel, and joining me is the man with Reese's peanut butter cups behind him, John
Yeah,
Hanson.
dude. They're not peanut butter cups. They're Reese's white ghosts. Ooh,
Oh,
spooky.
big difference.
Yes.
Big difference.
I any every time around Easter and Halloween, I always just grab a big bag of whatever the theme is for Reese's. I just love
I mean,
Reese's.
I can't eat them anymore because I'm allergic now, but Reese's
hmm
eggs, those were the jam.
Yeah, they're
Re-
good. These are pretty much the same thing. They here I'll open up one for you. We'll do an unboxing for this Reese's right here on the podcast. Really stalling for time here.
Here, I'll
Uh,
do an unboxing too. Are you about to eat one? Are we eating
yeah,
live on the
it,
air?
it pretty much looks just like an egg, but there's like a couple more like
Oh,
bumps
okay,
on the
gotcha.
side to make it a
All right,
ghost.
here's what I got. Kirkland caramel s'mores clusters. These are very good. I had
Mm,
one during lunch. I'll eat another one right now.
what are they like?
It's
Like
it's
show
pretty much like it's like a
show it to
s'mores.
the
It's
camera.
like it says milk
Mm,
chocolate, kettle cooked caramel, grams, and marshmallows.
mm, that's what we're
Delicious.
snacking on today. Reese's and s'more clusters. Is that what you called them? That does sound really good. I've never heard of that before.
It is very good. So my wife Elise works for Fannie Mae, and they've
I
been
don't know what
making
that
this. It's a chocolate company here in Chicago.
is.
She's a designer for them, but they make a similar product.
Okay.
They've been making it for a few years now, and it's amazing. But they used to sell them in Costco as well, in a bag similar to this. And then this year, Costco's like, "Oh, we don't want to sell your product anymore. We're good." Turns out it's because Costco made their own,
Of
which is a
course.
real shitty thing to do, but it probably makes sense on their end.
Yeah. it- Yeah. It's all about the money, man.
All about the money. Anyway, we are we are here to talk about video games. Believe it or not, John.
There's not
What is
much to
what is
talk
your
about
what
this
does your
week.
hoodie say? Does it just say gaming?
I don't want to show it because it's the company that laid me off.
Oh,
Fuck them.
oh, so it says gaming. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Um, yeah. Anyway, this week we are very light on news, so we're just gonna talk about video games, what we've been playing, what we're looking forward to. There's some quick news. Um, which one of these quick news things I want to talk about a little bit more because it kind of shows the future of consoles in a way. I don't know. But anyway, let's just get into the few main topics we have here. Oh, I
Alright.
should say follow us on Twitter at Pixel Street, youtube.com/Pixel Street videos. You know the drill. Go follow us. Hang out. Me and John did an unboxing of a bunch of Pokemon cards last Friday.
Maybe.
Friday. It was Friday. Last Friday we opened a whole bunch of Pokemon cards, so you can go watch that. We streamed it live on the YouTube channel, so go check that out and
They
hang out
were
with us
amazing
there.
polls, except for when they weren't.
Which was most of them weren't.
Yes. Yeah.
Sorry, my mouth is so dry from eating that s'mores cluster thing. Anyway, let's just get into the main topics that John has listed here. The first one being, is it weird that November has no blockbuster releases except Call of Duty this year?
Yeah,
I
so
don't know. I don't know that it's weird as much as it's just like we've already gotten a shit ton of blockbuster games this year
yeah,
that were all, at one point slated to be November games, whether it was last year or this year, right? Like they probably got pushed at some point.
yeah, it was funny to me because man, I gotta tell you, um, it was really tough coming up with stuff to talk about this week. So I was like, man, I was looking at like, oh well, we could talk about the big games coming out next week, but like that's a better topic for next week. And then I was like, well, how about games for the rest of the year? And then I happened to look at November, and yeah, Call of Duty is the only big game releasing in November. We've got Spider-Man, new Mario, new Sonic. Those are all coming out next week. And then even the Avatar game isn't coming out until December, if you want to call that a big game. So,
I feel like that game's gonna get delayed.
I- regardless, I'm not playing it because I don't give a shit.
Same.
But but they could delay it all they want. Um, yeah, so I just thought it was interesting because I guess it's just growing up and everything. I still think of November as like the big time for gaming releases. Like you would always have Call of Duty, you would have Battlefield. There was always more than just Call of Duty coming out during this time. And we have seen this. Sorry. We have seen this push lately for more games to release in October, and even beyond November, they'll go into like February to give the developers a little more time to work on it. I just, I don't know. It's just really weird to me to see, even in a year where we've had these gigantic releases, like almost all year long. There's been a couple down spots, but even with all these gigantic releases, it's just weird to me to see November like so barren. Because usually companies are all about like unloading their biggest releases of the year right before the holiday so they can hit the Black Friday rush and everything. This year, I mean, like outside of the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 release, which in itself is not that big of a release. Like, really, Modern Warfare 3 could be considered DLC for last year's Modern Warfare 2. Um, there's like Hogwarts Legacy coming out on Switch, and then I think there was one more port of a game that I can't even think of right now. So yeah, that's
I
really
don't
all I
know.
had to say about it.
I think part of it has to do with the fact that like E3 is more or less dead as well. Because like I think that like traditionally in the past the way it's been is like game companies come and show their stuff in June. That's all coming towards the end of the year, right? And I think that since COVID, these companies have realized like, oh, we don't have to, wait until June to show our stuff. We can show our stuff whenever we feel it's ready to show, and then just say, hey, it's coming out on X date. You know what I mean? Like they don't have to hold on to stuff anymore to, have a huge E3 showing in person or anything and then release it for the fall. I don't know. I prefer the games to be spread out the way they are just because it gives me more time to play stuff that I want to.
Yeah.
Even though in a year like this where like I haven't had time to play everything I want to because like there's just so many like big games that have come out. You know what I mean?
hmm
But could you imagine if all these big games all were coming out in a 3 month span?
I mean, yeah, that I think that's how it would be in years past. Although, I mean, I would think that Tears of the Kingdom was and Starfield were both originally planned to come out last November, so that's kind of how they felt where they are now. Baldur's Gate that was just going to come out whenever it was ready.
Yeah, they pulled Baldur's Gate up instead of delaying it. They pulled it in for PC.
Baldur's Gate is a weird thing because it's been playable for so long already on
Yeah.
Stadia. That's just a weird situation. Yeah, I mean, I don't really care one way or the other. I'm fine with things being more spread out. I was just wanting to bring up how weird it is to see a November that like here, I've got them pulled up. Uh Outside of Modern Warfare 3, you got WarioWare Move It, which is a game I'm excited for. Super Mario RPG, another game I'm excited for. The day before, which is that game that I'm not even sure is real or not. Like
That's
there's
that weird zombie game thing.
I
Is that
yeah,
it?
yeah, I think so.
The one that your buddy Brandon keeps saying that he thinks it's fake.
Yeah,
But then the devs will post like a short video that makes it look like a game of the year. And it's like, wait, so
yeah.
is this real or is this not real? Is
And
this
then
gonna
some
end up just being like a match 3 mobile game?
yeah, right. So probably avoid that. There's a new Like a Dragon Gaiden, which I don't know.
They're just pumping those games out.
Yeah, those are like on a yearly thing right now.
No,
How
even less because there's another one coming out in February.
and there was one that came out in like February this year. So
Yes,
like
that's
every
what I'm
6 months.
saying. I
How long until that series Yakuza slash Like a Dragon? Like how long until we hit fatigue on that? Because I I couldn't get into the ones that I've played. I've only played zero, and I can totally appreciate why people like it. Like it's got a lot of insane moments, and I bet the combat's really fun. But that game, that series is being pumped out a lot lately. So I'm just like, it's like even worse than Resident Evil right now, where I like Resident Evil, and like I feel that that series is being pushed out too much lately. Yakuza is just on another level where they're just like hammering it down, and I'm just like, I, at what point is it an Assassin's Creed situation where people are like, okay, we're done with this now? Like,
that's the
I
thing
don't
though. Is I feel like I didn't hear anything about these games until like last year. Is when I started hearing people talk about how they loved Yakuza games. So maybe it's like one of those things where it didn't catch fire in the US until like a year or two ago. And
it,
so that
it
that fatigue hasn't really set in.
it
But
was more like
also
right before the pandemic that it took off in the U.S.
but also like the only people I see posting about it are like people that seem like they're diehard Yakuza fans now. You know what I mean? Like I would never touch a game like I would never touch one of the games just because it doesn't look like something I'd be into. But the people that are into it are like diehard into it, and they're
Yeah,
gonna
they
play
love it.
whatever the fuck they put out.
Yeah.
For instance, this year we got Like a Dragon Ishin, and now we're getting Like a Dragon Gaiden, The Man Who Erased His Name, and in 2024 Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. And it's like it's the thing where there's so many of these games dating back to 2005 where it's like where do you start? You know what I mean? Like hold on, I got these.
Well, they
Like it,
have.
like me being a new person into the series. Do I start with like Yakuza Like a Dragon since it's kind of like a Dragon spin-off, it's not a mainline Yakuza game? Or am I going to be lost if I jump into that?
So from what I've gathered from the little I've looked into it, so 1 through 7, which are like all PS2 and PS3 games, I want to say, have all been remastered and you can play those if you want, but I've heard they're not that good. Zero is the prequel, which I've heard a lot of people like. I couldn't get into it. Like a Dragon is where it gets a new protagonist, and it also like uh it it changed to like turn-based combat.
Keep talking, I'll be back in a sec. I can hear
I've
you.
heard I've heard that one's good. And then Ishin, the one that came out earlier this year, I think is a remake of a old PS2 game that was in Japan only. And then I have no idea where Infinite Wealth and was it The Man Who Erased His Name? Is that what it's called? Yeah, The Man Who Erased His Name. I have no idea where they sit. I think one is supposed to star like the original protagonist, Kiryu, and the other one is supposed to star the new protagonist. So now they're already like branching off all these different ways, but now like they have different protagonists starring in mainline games. It's weird. Like it's getting to the point where you know how much I love Kingdom Hearts, and probably anyone who loves Yakuza as much as I love Kingdom Hearts could explain all this much better than I could. But I think I'm at that point where I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. You're muted.
I am muted. I was saying I don't even know if I know anybody that could explain it all to me. You know what I mean? I feel like it's something that I have to rely on YouTube videos for. And that's just like too much effort than I'm willing to put in.
Yeah, for sure.
Moving on, John. Disney is being urged to dive deeper into video games, maybe potentially acquiring EA. Would you be in favor of this, or rather they keep licensing their games? I would rather they just license their games.
Me too.
We've
Yeah. So
seen how it turns out for these big companies like Google and Amazon when they try and branch out and make their own games, and it's not going well. Like, I know Amazon is still making games, and like they just came out with not just, but like in the past few years they came out with a New World, I think it was, that MMO, and I don't know of anybody who plays that still. I know a lot of people played it at launch, but I don't think anymore. And they came out with one other game, I forget what it was called, but and then yeah, Stadia is just completely dead from their birth to death in what, like 3 years time, from when it was first announced to when it was shut down, something like
not
that. It's
even
pretty
it
crazy.
didn't. I don't think it even lasted that long. I think it lasted like a year and a half before they shut it down.
Yeah, I think it's just a safer bet on Disney's part to say, hey EA, we want to make a Star Wars game, or hey Ubisoft, make it like they're doing right now, make a Star Wars game for us, and we will split profits, however they. How do those contracts work? I'm assuming Disney's like, hey, we'll fund the making of this project, and we split profits a certain way, right?
Probably.
Um, but yeah, it's the smarter move, especially having seen the precedent of these other large companies try and start making video games and just failing.
My whole thing is that we've already seen Disney already try and get into gaming, and they ended up closing all of their studios, and they're at where they're at now. I think the games that come out are much better when they license them out on a regular. Uh, the only like real downfalls I can think of are the EA Star Wars games. Uh, those are like outside of the Jedi Survivor games, like
Battlefront.
yeah, the Battlefront games were both pretty panned when they came out. Although they weren't like
I
terrible games or
Yeah,
anything.
I enjoyed the gameplay of them. I think that everybody just hated the loot box aspect of them. Like, I'm sure if you went and played now, you would probably have a great time just because they have fixed a lot of those issues that many people had with the games.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I would much rather them stay this way. This all came up because Disney is like losing money like crazy lately in the box office and in other areas, and
Did you see the
they
Disney
won't
Plus price hike?
they like they like doubled it.
Hold on, I'm looking it up because I canceled as soon as I saw it. I was like, nope.
I canceled 2 months ago because I was low on money, and I was like, yeah, I'll re up because I love Disney Plus. That is probably the subscription I use the most besides YouTube Premium. Um, and I after I heard they like doubled it, and I was like, oh, that sucks, man, because I really want to get on there, and I love those movies and shows and stuff.
Yeah, starting tomorrow, October 12th, Disney will go from $10.99 per month to $13.99, while its
Oh, so
annual
it's not bad.
ad-free plan will go from $110 to $140. So,
Wonder why I heard that they doubled it. I don't know. Maybe some kind of bundle with the Hulu thing. Um, yeah, I yeah, that sucks for me at least. I know some people don't care. They're like, "Oh, Marvel sucks now," and I'm like, "Man, no, I love Marvel.
it's
I want to
it,
watch
it's
it
it's
all."
not even just about that too. Is like Star Wars has some good content on there that's actively coming out. It does suck because like I canceled because I don't think I'm gonna get value out of it, right?
Mhm.
Like, yeah, it sucks that I'm not gonna watch Loki, but honestly, I wasn't like a huge fan of the first season. Um, but like, if you think on a year to year basis, there's probably like 3 seasons of television that I want to watch on them as a whole, and it's like to me, it doesn't seem worth it to pay in this case $140 now just to just to watch 3 seasons worth of TV over the course of a year.
Yeah. See, that's how I am with Hulu and HBO Max and Netflix. Like, I just don't watch those unless there's a very specific thing that's out. Other than that, I just don't watch them. Disney Disney Plus is the one that I'll put like The Simpsons on in the background, and I'll watch Marvel or Disney movies with my daughter.
Yeah, in this case, I feel like it would benefit me just to wait until the full season of Loki comes out and just binge watch it over a month.
Hmm.
Because
Yeah.
then, like, I'm only paying what if I do that 3 times a year, like $60 for the year instead of paying 140.
Hmm. With all this said, though, getting pulling this back in the video games, I do want to see more Disney video games coming out. I mean, I know we've got plenty of Star Wars, we've got plenty of Marvel games that are upcoming still over the next few years, but I want
Give me Donald Duck going quackers too, John. All I
a
want.
remake of that would be amazing. I just want more like actual Disney games in general. There, uh, I was broke, so I couldn't buy it, but there was a Mickey Mouse game that came out on Switch earlier this year that I want to grab and play with my daughter. I love the Mickey Mouse 2D platformers from back in the day, so I just want more of those. Give me that, and
Here's the
you
thing,
know,
John. Just give all of those to THQ Nordic, and they will remake all of those games for you.
I mean, I'd be fine with some remakes, but I don't know if I trust THQ Nordic to make anything these days. Um, so yeah, I'm always down for more Disney games, but I would rather it be licensed out rather than them try and make their own gaming company and buy EA or anything.
I completely agree, and like part of it is also like me being selfish in that I don't want them to have to make a whole new game studio to make a Star Wars game. You know what I mean? Because like the amount of time it would take for that game to come out. Say today they decided, all right, we're gonna make this Star Wars game. We're not seeing that game for like 6 years or so, right? Whereas if today they decided, hey, we want Ubisoft to make this Star Wars game, we might see that game sooner. It's just going to take a long time for them to make a game studio and potentially their own engine, even if they
Hmm.
decide to go that route. If they go that route, we're talking 10 years at least before we see a game from them.
Yeah, no, just keep licensing stuff, Disney. You'll get things turned around. People love your stuff. Just I don't know. Maybe have you tried cutting back on costs a little bit? Like shit's expensive. We can't afford all this stuff.
Yeah, like maybe don't take like a $30 million salary, Bob Iger, or whatever the fuck your salary is.
Man, I bet it's low. That's too low for him.
I'm looking it up.
Look it up. I before
27
oh,
million.
okay,
I was
well,
close.
you were close. I was gonna guess like 600 million.
Damn.
I
You want to take us through the quick news?
sure. Zoo Tycoon is getting a board game, and Microsoft may consider bringing dormant franchises back in board games after
Hate it.
this. You
Hate it.
you wouldn't like to see a Blinks the Time Sweeper board game?
Here's the thing, like I'm fine with them making a board game, but don't make it seem like Zoo Tycoon is back,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a board game. You know what I mean? Like
Zoo Tycoon
if you're
hasn't
gonna
even.
do that, just bring the game back.
Well, I guess it's been a decade since the last Zoo Tycoon game. Yeah, if we got a Banjo Kazooie board game with no Banjo remake or Banjo
You'd
3
be
or
pissed.
anything, I would be pissed. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
I would not want that whatsoever. No, I'm right there with you. Valve has discontinued Counter Strike 2 on Mac after breaking the game with the transition from the first game. So you know how the first game forced an update to make it Counter Strike 2.
Yeah.
Apparently, it just doesn't work on Mac anymore, and they're like, "Yeah, we're not gonna work on that." But according to them, only 1% of the player base were playing on Mac, so they're
I
like,
believe it.
"We're just
Ma-
doing PC and Linux going forward." So
I don't think I've met somebody that plays video games on a Mac at all. So like ever.
it feels like something Chad would do.
He doesn't play any PC games at all, as far
I
as I
know.
know.
I'm just saying, it just feels like something he would
Yeah.
do.
he will be the first one talking about whatever was Resident Evil 4 running on his
On his,
iPhone 15. I guarantee you he'll talk about it.
100%, yeah. A PS5 Slim is releasing next month. The digital edition price has increased, and it has a horizontal stand built in. Vertical stand will cost $30 extra to grab. Is this what you were wanting to talk about a little
Yeah,
more?
so yeah, they announced this just out of the blue in essentially a blog post yesterday, right? And it's coming. Did they say next week or next month?
Next
I
month.
forget.
It's sometime in November.
Yeah, and it honestly doesn't look very much different from the current PS5s, outside of having like a black line through the middle of either side because they're modular in a way in terms of the plates. Like take them off, and you can add a disk drive to the diskless version by paying for a $70 disk drive. I don't know. I think that it's kind of a step backwards because they sell those side plates already for the PS5, and them releasing a new PS5 just means like, hey, if you buy this one, you can't use all these old plates we made. Like as little as 2 months ago, they released the Spider-Man 5 ones, right? So
Hmm.
or Spider-Man 2 PS5 ones. It's like, hey, if you just bought that, sorry, you're shit out of luck. If you want this new one, you can't use them. I think that the OG PS5 just looks cleaner. I like the look of it more, but I don't know. It does. It also doesn't look like it's that much smaller than the
No.
original PS5.
Uh, in all honesty, it took me a moment when I first saw the image. I saw the image before I saw the article announcing it. And I just thought it was a different PS5, and I'm like, oh, okay. I thought it was the same thing, just with a line through it. I'm like, oh, it still looks ugly. I still think the PS5 is the ugliest console I've ever owned. Like
Yeah,
it does not
it's
look
just
good.
awkward. It's like, and I agree that the Xbox Series X is a little awkward in the square shape, but the PS5 is just super awkward to have
Mhm.
in
It
a gaming console.
I think it's funny though that they like put a little horizontal stand on the front of it. It's just like the littlest thing. I'm like, that's gonna like I feel like that's gonna just pop off or
I don't even know
something.
what you're talking about.
So yeah, look up. Yeah, let me see if I can just like
I'm
PS5
pulling it up.
Slim horizontal stand. See if it'll.
I'm watching a video. It's 21 seconds long.
Do, do, do.
Oh, so if it's horizontal, it has a little stand. They don't show that in the video at all.
I just posted a.
Oh, that is so dumb looking. I see that now. It's like a little clear acrylic piece.
Yeah, it's pretty dumb.
That is ridiculously stupid looking.
You're right.
That is
And
so dumb.
I also I also can't believe that they're increasing the price of the digital
Yeah,
and they're making you buy a
the
vertical
stand.
stand. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
$30 additional or no. Oh yeah,
yeah,
$30.
yeah,
A
yeah.
variety of PS5 console covers for the new model will be available starting early 2024, including an all matte black colorway and deep earth collection colors in volcanic red, cobalt blue, and sterling silver. So yeah, they're coming out with new side plates for them as well. I don't know,
I
man.
mean,
I think it's really so. The thing I think is cool is that you have the option if you buy the digital version to also buy a disc drive if you decide you want one in the future, right? But I think that would have been way cooler had the original PS5 had that feature on it. You know what I mean? Like had they done
mhm,
this how long ago was it now? 3 years ago when the PS5 came out, that would have been like a huge deal. But yeah, the fact that the digital version now is just $50 less than the disc version, and if you want to upgrade it, you're ending up spending like $30 more than if you had just bought the disc version to begin with.
mhm.
Just buy the disc version. You know what I mean?
I feel like oh man, I just lost what I was gonna say. I had something. what was I gonna say? Oh, the disc thing, the Blu-ray add-on thing is such a small percentage of people that I can't believe that they're actually like going through with making it. Because if you think about it, it's like, okay, people like us, we have extra consoles that can play Blu-ray disc in it. Or wait, this add-on thing, it lets you play games, not just
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Blu-ray
yeah.
movies. Okay, all right, then I can
But
understand it. But why not just
to
buy?
here's the
This,
thing. To be fair, if you've put a disc, sorry, if you've put a disc in any of your consoles in the last like 5 years, all it does is it reads the disc, acknowledges that you own a copy of the game, and then downloads the game from the internet. Right? Let's be
yeah,
honest. Like it may have like 20, 30 gigs on the disk that it downloads initially, but then it just updates to like the 80 gig version, 120 gig version of the game. So it's like
yeah.
kind of pointless to buy discs in general, but yeah, I like
That's
all
a
that
whole
thing.
different
All,
discussion.
yeah, all that disk drive is doing is saying, "Hey, yeah, you own this game, you can
Yeah,
play it."
I just can't. I can't imagine like having a little because it's gonna just plug into your USB port on there, right? So it's like it's
I
just
don't
gonna like
know.
dangle
I
from there,
no. So when you buy the disk drive, it comes with a new side panel as well.
so it like clips onto the side
Yeah.
to
So
get
I think
that ugly
so
thing.
the same way. So I'm trying to explain it without having an image up for you to, because they have a picture on here that shows the disk drive, and I think that if you buy the slim disk version, you could probably remove the disk drive from that and put the slim cover on it.
Oh, I see it now.
So it's
Okay,
like it's kind of a modular design in that sense.
I get it.
Yeah.
That's
So
stupid.
which is why they have that slit out line down the center of the console, is so that they don't have to ship you like the whole side of the console to clip on over the disk drive. They just ship you the part that covers the disk drive.
Why even make the disc version to begin with then? Why not just sell the digital version and by itself and anyone who wants to buy a disc could just like pay the extra?
I don't know. It blows my mind looking back at like the PS2, right? The OG PS2 and then the slim PS2, cuz that was like such a leap forward in terms
That
of
was
like,
a
hey,
great
look at how small this thing can be. And then looking at the PS5 to the PS5 Slim, it's like that thing's still going to take up a shit ton of space, right? Like granted it is smaller, it is slimmer, but it still looks huge and it still looks the same.
yeah,
I wish they had done something different with the design.
it feels like they made it just out of, oh hey, we've done this every other generation, so we have to make a slim version.
Yeah.
I know we had the Xbox leaks that say they're making a Series X one, but at least that one they're making the move to digital only, which is like something I'm like, yeah, I could get behind that. I wish that there was a digital only Series X to begin with. This one is like there was already a digital only, there was already a disc version only. Like I can't imagine a single PS5 owner who's trading in their PS5 they have now to get this slim version.
Yeah, most people I've talked to that mainly play on PS5 have said that there's really no reason to get this. If you have a PS5 already and you're happy with it, right? The only way I could see you changing is if you bought a digital version of the PS5 and you want a disc version of a PS5. Then it makes sense like, okay, I'll just buy the Slim now, right?
Mhm.
But it's like there's no reason, if you have no issues with your current PS5, to buy this one, right? And like for me, I would have considered it if it was like a really cool design and was like really small compared to the current one. You know what I mean? It would have been something I like thought about, but yeah, there's really no reason I think for people to buy this if you already have a PS5.
Yep, I
Also sucks
agree.
for people that like bought the limited edition Spider-Man side plates and now, you know, if they do upgrade, they can't even use them.
It's also just like a thing that like you well obviously they're not going to upgrade because of that, but like now they're going to have to be making even more plates for like both versions,
Yeah,
which is just stupid.
yep, I agree.
Yeah.
Moving on, John. Bobby Kotick had an Activision company meeting hosted by James Corden and hinted that Guitar Hero could be coming back.
There you
I'm
go.
all for it.
There's your board game, the Guitar Hero board
Yeah,
game.
they're bringing it back, and it's a board game. No, so you know I love like Rock Band. I love Guitar Hero.
Mhm.
I'm mainly a Rock Band guy,
Everyone loves
right?
it. Yeah.
Um, it's a shame that the last time we saw Guitar Hero, they did a really weird thing with Guitar Hero Live. I think it was
Yep.
where
That was bad.
instead of just the five buttons, they did like three top, three bottom. Nobody liked it. It killed
No.
the game pretty much. Um, I would be excited if they went back to the five button approach and actually made peripherals for these games readily available. Because like right now, if you wanted to play Rock Band 4, you're spending at least $200 just to buy a used guitar on eBay for the
Mhm.
Xbox or the PS5, just because they stopped making them a long time ago. When they did make them for Rock Band 4, they were already pretty scarce. Like they didn't make that many. So I'm all for it. The dream would be that Guitar Hero comes out with like a whole band set up, similar to Rock Band, similar to Guitar Hero World Tour, like they did in the past. Because like that's the funnest thing, right? Is getting a bunch of people together and playing the game. Everybody's on a different instrument, somebody's singing. That's when those games are the most fun, I think. But hey, I'll take a guitar and a new Guitar Hero and fuck around with that if that's all I'm getting. But it would be
If
pretty cool.
Guitar Hero were coming back, in all honesty, I want them to simplify it. I want just guitars. I don't want a full Rock Band set because, well, if let's say Rock Band, Guitar Hero come back, they get popular again, and we do all that. We don't need to have the $150, $200 Rock Band sets that just take up so much room. Like I am completely fine with just the guitars. Like give me guitar and bass. You could have like multiplayer still with that aspect. I don't need the full band.
That's the
Maybe
beauty of it, John, is you don't have to play with the full band.
yeah, but I don't know. I just see that bombing in a big way because we've been through that situation where that's so much it's just so much room that's taken up on store shelves and it just never gets bought up because one, it's too expensive and two, it's too big. Like there are not that many people these days that would go for a full Rock Band set. I don't
I
think
would buy it, and that's all that matters, John.
you would be one of like 12. I think
Good.
so.
In all reality, like if somebody started a Kickstarter where they found a way to hook up old peripherals to a current gen system, like that solves all the issues I have, right? I don't need a new game if that happens. But it hasn't happened yet. They did make like a first party one at one point. It was I don't remember who made it. I don't remember if it was Mad Cats, but they must have made like 100 of these fucking things because to buy one now it's like $400 on eBay. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's the state of these games now, I guess.
Mhm.
John,
Yeah.
tell me about your Texas Chainsaw Massacre achievement grind.
All right. I am so close to being done with the game and I can't wait. I need 4 or 5 achievements and then I can call it quits. I need to hit level 50. I'm at level 48 right now. I need to escape 100 times as a victim, which I'm very close to. I think I'm at like 3 or 2 after I just played a little bit ago. I'll go into more of that here in a little bit. Uh, and then on the family side, I need to win 2 more close encounters, which will be luck, but it could happen. And I need to hang and kill like 5 more people as Leatherface. And then there's one where you have to like pull people out of hiding places, which no one hides in this game, so I'm gonna probably boost that one. But I'm feeling pretty good about getting like most of these achievements legitimately. Like I haven't done any boosting yet. I've put in so many hours because I didn't have much to play for a while. Uh Sorry if you heard that thunder. It's storming here now. Um yeah, so I'm excited to be at the end. So on the victim side, like I said, all I need is just to escape a certain number of times. At this point, I'm not even playing the game like it's fun anymore. I'm playing it like it's a job. Like I will every single game right now, I'm going in and trying to speed run it. I the game starts. I get out of my the bonds. I get a tool and I just rush and rush. And if I can get out, awesome. If anyone finds me while I'm like trying to unlock doors, I just let them kill me and move on to the next game. Surprisingly, it's worked pretty well the last couple
Really?
days. Yeah. Uh Last night I played about an hour and a half about, I guess. And I got like 10 escapes just rushing. Like, yeah,
That's
there's plenty
wild.
of times where it's like, "Oh, they found me? Okay, yep, kill me. I don't care. Boom, next game." And most of that time is waiting in lobbies because the game takes so fucking long to actually start.
Yeah,
Um,
like, and most of the time you're just waiting for that one person to ready up.
yep. So yeah, I'm very ready to be done with this game. It's definitely like my biggest surprise of the year, but only playing 3 maps is so draining. Like I know everything about these maps at this point. Like this is how I can speed run it. Is like it's ridiculous. Like it needs more content for it to like survive, I think. I'm just very ready for it just to
Yeah,
be
I
done with it, call it
I
quits.
honestly don't know how you played it as much as you have because I got pretty burnt out on that game really quick just because it is the same thing over and over. And
Mhm.
there's only what, three maps, right?
Yeah, there's only 3.
Yeah, so
It helped. So there's a couple things that helped. One, I like achievement hunting, as you can see,
yeah.
and all of these from the beginning, all of these achievements seem doable, which you don't always see in multiplayer games. Like there's a lot that you're like, oh, I'll have to invest like a full 2 years of my life to get all of these. This I've been playing pretty regularly for 2 months, and I'm very close to having it all the way done. So like it's pretty good from an achievement standpoint. Two, it's a very good game to just listen to podcasts while I play. Um, I I don't talk to teammates or anything. I will just I'll keep like the TV volume on, but I'm listening to a podcast while I play at the same time. So that's really how a lot of my time has been taken up. Because I think if I were just like there were some nights where I wasn't listening to a podcast and I was getting frustrated when things weren't going my way and I was like starting to rage, which usually it takes me quite a bit to like rage at a game. And I was like, yeah, no, it's I'm just very ready to be done with it.
Yeah, I bet. I beat Starfield since the last
Ooh,
time I recorded.
nice.
I got to a point to where I was like, I had the last mission just sitting there for like hours at the end, and I was like, all right, let's just do it. So yeah, I went through and beat the game. I think the game has a really cool way of doing New Game Plus. It's really interesting to me, and I've looked up some stuff on like what New Game Plus can be for other people because New Game Plus for me won't be the same as somebody else. That's all I'll say about it without spoiling it. Um,
Was it a multiverse thing?
I'm not spoiling anything, John. Stop talking.
Okay.
I'm not.
All
I'm
right.
not gonna let you know. But yeah,
All right.
it's really interesting. Um, the way they're doing New Game Plus in that game.
Mm,
So I started a New Game Plus. I haven't played too much of it, maybe half an hour, just because I beat the game and it was kind of late at night. And I was like, but I kind of want to see what this is about. So yeah, I'm excited to play more of that. But there's like other stuff that I want to get to. I'll briefly talk about. So yeah, Starfield overall, I love the story. I thought it was really cool. Um, I love the gameplay. I hate the facial animations of everybody in the game. Pretty much, nobody has
it's an
any
ugly game.
expressions. But yeah, so after I beat it, I think the next day I went and launched Cyberpunk just out of curiosity. Wanted to see where my guy was. Um, because I've been hearing a lot of good things about Phantom Liberty. So I was like, all right, let's check it out. And I played for maybe 40 minutes, just kind of running around. I think I did a side quest. No, actually, I did a main quest. Um, yeah, that game's still cool. Like it's like night and day when it comes to talking to NPCs and stuff in that game, and like doing quests compared to Starfield. Because
Hmm.
like you talk to somebody in a quest in Cyberpunk. Okay, so first of all, you talk to somebody in a quest for Starfield. They just stand there. They don't move. They just talk to you, then you talk to them, then they talk to you, then you talk to them. Then they're like, "Okay, go do this," and you say, "Okay," and then you walk away, and that guy goes about his business, just like walking back and forth in a shop, whatever he's doing. He's just walking around. Whereas in Cyberpunk, like you go to somebody for a quest, and it's like you're still there. You can still walk around. You can look around, but it feels much more animated. Like it feels like you're actually in a cutscene or like part of a movie or something. Because like these characters aren't just standing still talking to you. Sometimes they're walking around, pacing back and forth. Sometimes they're getting mad at you. Like they actually have facial animations. It's just really well done. Um, and it makes me wish that Cyberpunk had, or not, that Starfield had more of that. But again, like it's a Bethesda game, right? So, and Bethesda is not known for anything like that at all. Um, but yeah, so played a little bit of Cyberpunk. I enjoyed what I played. I'll probably get back to it again at some point in the near future because it was pretty cool. I kind of want to play a little bit more of it on my TV because I haven't gamed on my TV in a while. So maybe I'll do that this week or weekend. Um, yeah, so I just kind of dabbled in that a little bit.
Nice.
Tell me about being an assassin.
So Assassin's Creed Mirage came out late last week, and I've seen some so reviews for it. Like usually I see like a 7 or a 8. I've seen some people complaining that it's janky and everything, and yeah, it is. To me, it feels like an Xbox 360 game, and I feel like that's what it's going for, and I am having a very good time playing it. I didn't know that I missed this kind of game as much as I did. I've always enjoyed the Assassin's Creed games, not the first one, but everything after that I've really enjoyed. Whether it was the classic style like this game is, or if it was the larger RPG games. Yeah, I'm just having a good time. I've been doing so much like side stuff, the like contract missions. I haven't really progressed too far in the main story at all. I just like killed the first order guy in the game, and
How many of
now
them
I'm
are
just
there? Like eight?
I want to say like 5 or 6. It's not a long game at all. Um, so yeah, I'm enjoying it. I I'm glad that it's a shorter game that I'll be able to complete before next week with Spider-Man, Sonic, and Mario all coming out, which is going to be like a lot of switching between my Switch, Xbox, and PS5.
What Sonic game comes out?
Sonic Superstars, the 2D game. It looks really good.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah. I remember
yeah.
this.
Yeah, that comes out then 3 days later as both Spider-Man and Mario. So, yeah, next week's a big week for me gaming wise. So yeah, this is the perfect time for Assassin's Creed to come out for me. I've been kind of in a rut the last couple months because I couldn't get into Starfield at all, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre was like the only thing new that I've been playing. Like I've been going back to some older games lately, but I'm very happy that Assassin's Creed Mirage came out and it's surprised me and like had my attention as much as it has the last few days. It's just a big playground to mess around in. When you go outside of the city, it's just desert and you have to like run for a while in some instances, but most of the time you're in the city. But yeah. No,
Cool.
I like it. If you like the Assassin's Creed games, the original style, you'll enjoy it. You might notice some jank. Yeah, the animations for NPCs isn't great in this game either. I don't care. I'm here to sneak around and kill people with a blade.
Yeah, I don't think it's for me necessarily, but I do enjoy watching some like clips people are posting on Twitter and stuff from the game. Looks like it
Mm,
could be cool.
yeah, I
I
enjoy it.
didn't like the old Assassin's Creed games, so yeah, I probably would not like this one.
Yeah.
So the other game I've been playing is a lot of Forza Motorsport. So that game just came out yesterday, Tuesday, October 10th, but I bought the premium add-on for Game Pass and I've been playing since last Thursday, I believe. Um, I can't stop playing it, man. I know I've been staying up late playing this game. Like I think last Friday night I was playing it until like 3 a.m. and I don't know why. I was just playing online multiplayer matches with randoms until 3 a.m. It's got a lot of good stuff going for it, but it also has like some bad stuff. Like I was telling John last night in a party that so when you do the career mode, you go through pretty much tournaments more or less. They call it like a series, which is like think of like Mario Kart where like you get points for each race and then the total at the end gets added up and that's your overall positioning. And when you go into one of these, I think it's called a cup, but when you go into one of them, they have you like the cup will be like, modern day hatchbacks. That'll be the cup name and it's all like, modern day cars like probably 2010 and newer and they're all hatchbacks that you have to choose from. And so you choose a car, you can either rent or buy it. I think career mode actually gives you cars. I honestly don't know. I think they give you certain cars, and then some cars you have to buy, like if you wanted a different one. But yeah. So then you choose that car, and then you use that car through the series. You level up the car through the series as you're going, and then you pick a new series, and with a new series comes a new car. So they really don't incentivize you to like use cars that you like using as much. Um, it more so incentivizes you to like diversify what you're using because, like, for instance, if you're going from a hatchback series, which are generally slower cars, to like a series where it's like all Ferraris and Corvettes, you're gonna get smoked, right? So you're forced to choose a new car. Um, I wish that there was a way to where like in Forza Horizon how you can just kind of make your own race up. Like you go to the objective and it's like, here's what we recommend, but if you want, you can just say, fuck it, I want to use this car. And it'll kind of revolve it based around what car you want to use. Almost wish that there was a way to do that. Just because, like, there are certain cars that I just don't like driving. Like, for instance, like the 1960s muscle cars. There's a cup for that I've just been avoiding because those cars just handle really poorly. They kind of just like don't do turns very well. So yeah, that's an issue that I have with the game as a whole. The multiplayer is interesting because they have like featured multiplayer uh, events where you that. So I'm trying to think of an example of how it works. But anyway, if you go into multiplayer, featured multiplayer, there will be like a few different of these like same similar cup things, right? Granted, you don't have to play multiple races in them. You can just do one and then leave. But each one will tell you like, okay, you have the next 20 minutes to enter it. The race starts at 7:40 p.m. your time. So you enter into it and you can just drive around and practice. You got to do your qualifying laps where it gives you 3 laps to qualify. It takes your best lap, and then it gives you a position on the grid at the start of the race based on that, depending on how you did compared to other drivers and stuff like that, which is really cool because that's like more realistic to how like you know professional racing is. You know what I mean? Everybody drives their qualifying laps, and then it puts you on the grid based on that. It gives you a safety rating based on how you drive online. For instance, I think I'm a safety rating. It goes up to S, and that's based on how much you crash into people, um, how much you drive off the track. And so here's the annoying thing: is I was an S safety rating for like 4 matches, and then somebody like absolutely destroyed my car by smashing into me, and then that threw me into another car, and I lost the rating because somebody was an asshole and hit me, and then it made me hit another car. And for some reason, the game gave me a penalty for that. That's what it does. It gives you a penalty. So if you drive off the track too much, it gives you a penalty of like it'll add 1 second. It'll add zero point 0.4 seconds to your time overall. Then that all gets added at the end of the race and can affect where you actually finish in the race. It just I don't know. The safety rating is annoying to me because I drive really well and you just can't control what other people are going to do. Especially like yesterday, the day it came out on Game Pass for everybody. It was a shit show. People were just smashing into everybody at the first turn. They weren't giving a shit about what was going on. So yeah, I think like a week or two in, it'll be exciting to play again just because it'll have everybody sorted out, right? Because it pairs you up with other people that are similar in safety rating to you. So that way, I'm not, an S tier safety rating and I'm not going in with like C tier safety rating people where they're just going to be smashing into me and not taking it seriously. Um, so yeah, that's kind of my initial thoughts on the game as a whole. I've been loving it a lot. I've been using the race wheel. Will bought a race wheel yesterday, and we were messing around with them online. It's fun. The race wheels are hard. I don't think I'll play like a featured multiplayer match with the race wheel just because I'm so bad with it. But yeah, I don't know. I like the game a lot. It's a ton of fun.
You lost me a long time ago, but I'm
Yeah,
very
I know.
happy for you.
I know.
I um I had to look up what a hatchback is.
Oh my god.
And then I got distracted by other things and I just let you talk. I'm
No
very
worries.
happy or I'm sorry for your loss.
No, I've always loved racing games, and the sim racing ones are no different. Like they're just a ton of fun.
Cool. Well, I think
That's
that's
it.
it for this week.
Yeah, this has been we. It's 56 minutes. We did something. We
We
filled
made
that
it.
time.
We made it by
Um,
talking about snacks, cars. There was
yeah,
a
we
little
did
bit of
spend a solid 5 minutes talking about snacks.
subscription talk in there with Disney
Yeah,
Plus.
hatchbacks. John knows what a hatchback is now. I hope since he looked it
I
up.
don't. I don't. It just said if you like open the trunk and the door slides up.
Yeah.
Like I don't
I'm
care.
trying to.
Joel, I don't care about cars.
John. All right, hear me out. Hear me out.
We're ending it.
Picture
We're ending. Just end the show.
the hinge. Picture like a normal car, right? Normal car, not an SUV of any kind. Normal car, but the trunk opens like this, like the hinges at the top, and like it's like a bigger trunk, and you can see like it's not separated from the rest of the car. This has been episode 244 of the
Thank
Pixel
you.
Street Podcast. As always, you can follow us on Twitter at Pixel Street. Check out our YouTube channel by searching for Pixel Street videos over there. You can find me on Twitter at Campos63 or twitch.tv/Campos63. You can find John over on Forza Motorsports website where he is posting day in and day out about his favorite hatchback builds, and he is explaining to everybody what a hatchback is since he definitely knows what they are now.
Yeah.
John, where else are you on the internet?
Little did you know, the hatchback gorilla is my favorite animal in the animal kingdom. Um, I'm John Hanson. You can find me on Twitter at Revix Shadows, and you can find my writing on GameSandwich.com. This month is Console Wars month. I've got a really cool article about how Nintendo's arrogance created their biggest, most fearsome enemy ever. Who could that be? It's Sony. Um, yeah.
Oh, and
So
John, has Sega, what is it? Sega does what Nintendo don't got brought up yet?
that might or might not be my next thing I'm writing. So you will see very
I, I
soon.
I like to think that you weren't even thinking about that, and I
No,
said that, and now.
I actually was.
All right,
That
well,
is something. Yeah, check
so
out GameSandwich.com.
I will not be here next week, so we may or may not have a podcast next week. It's up to John. I'll be in Las Vegas, so stay tuned, and we'll let you know if we'll be here next week for episode 245 of the Pixel Street Podcast.
Bye.